Hey everybody, best friend number one, Stephen Pappas here. Just want to let you know a little bit ahead of time. We kind of strayed from the usual format of the episode this week, and we explained a little bit more about that during the episode, but I do want to let anybody know ahead of time if you have triggers. There was discussion of suicide and self-harm during the episode, so if that is something that would be upsetting to you or cause trouble, maybe skip past this one and listen to another funny one until we're back next week with all the jokes. Thanks.
Hey, it's your best friend Roseanne, host of California Dreaming, a podcast that brings you true crime tales from the Golden State, and you are listening to Is This Adulting on the Orbital Jigsaw Network.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Is This Adulting, a weekly conversation between two best friends navigating adulthood as overgrown man-children. I'm best friend number one, Stephen Pappas.
And I'm best friend number two, Chris Grimmett.
So, if this is your first time listening to Is This Adulting, welcome, and you're going to be real confused. So this is going to be kind of a different episode than what we usually do. We're recording not on our usual night, for reasons I'll get into a little bit later. And really, it has just been a very interesting and taxing week. And so we've decided from time to time, if we have an exceptionally, not necessarily bad, but bad week, and we need to really focus on mental health, we're gonna do little one-offs here and there when we really need to, just called Real Talk. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about what's going on and how we've been feeling and really hash that out, because this week is just not a week where I think either one of us is in a great place to do the comedy show that so many of you are used to receiving. So if this is your first time, I hope you enjoy the conversation, but please definitely stick with us. We'll be back making jokes and playing stupid games next week. Or go back and listen to last week's episode. And we're about to hit a month solid of guests, and we got some really great guests coming on. I'm really excited about it. So stick with us, but this is going to be just kind of a different format. I do want to get into quick housekeeping. We just want to say thanks to Roseanne from California Dreaming for the audio drop at the beginning of the episode. Those are still coming into the email, so if any of you want to send us that, you can send it to us at isthisadultingpod@gmail.com and just record yourself saying, hey, this is your best friend and your name from wherever you live, and you're listening to Is This Adulting. We got one from Macedonia this week.
Ooh, that's
so
fun.
Like they're coming from around the world now.
I know who that one is. That's exciting.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I do. We both know who it is.
Oh. Okay. Now I feel dumb.
Yeah, you're making a... It took you a while to make the connection.
It did take me a while to make... It's been an exceptionally taxing week. I was just like, oh, cool, we have random listeners in Macedonia. All right, that makes sense. We also want to say thanks to Katie B and Chris O for increasing their monthly pledges on Patreon. We really appreciate your support. We could not make this show without any of you. I realize I have like a much more NPR voice than usual. Usually I'm a lot more goofy. But
we're just tired, man.
We are exhausted, and the night is far from over for both of us, I think. And so, yeah, we're not going to do much editing on this episode. We're just going to have a conversation, but we wanted to say thank you for those things just here at the top of the show, and we're going to kind of move right into it. So usually what we would do for first-time listeners, if you're still with us, we would start the week off like we do every week with a mental health check-in, and I would utter the now infamous line, Chris, how you been this week? But this week, our entire show is going to be one big mental health conversation because we, at some point, I think we'll address it a little more, but I mean, we do need to address the fact that we went to DC Podfest, and that was, I think, you know, for all purposes, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. It was a great weekend. We learned a lot. We met with a lot of people, a lot of cool people that we're going to bring on the show. And we did the live show, and I think that went really well. We got invited to another festival. We'll talk about that on a future episode. But a lot of things went well. But for you and I both, being as introverted as we are and having social anxiety issues, I don't know about you, but that weekend took everything I had out of me by the end of it. I loved it.
Yeah. God, it's amazing how tired I was afterwards.
Yeah, I still haven't recovered, I feel like.
Yeah, me either.
And the thing is, I've been eating better and I should have more energy, but I'm still just trying to sleep off a weekend. And it's not for the normal reasons you would have to sleep off a crazy fun weekend. It's just, I'm just exhausted from kind of so much social interaction, and I enjoyed every minute of it, but it's just taxing a lot of times for people like you and me who maybe don't always handle social situations the best. And so, but we did have a good time there. I do want to talk on a future episode about DC Podfest in more detail.
Sure.
So that we can break it down and y'all can all hear what we did and all the fun things that we have coming down the pipeline. But
maybe we can do a Patreon episode about it.
Oh, that's true. That's a really good idea. See, this is teamwork in action, y'all. So, yeah, I mean, how you want to do this? Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can talk. So I talked with Steven about wanting to change it up this week for a couple reasons. And I think at the heart of why I wanted to do this kind of real talk thing is, so some of the people that listen to us do podcasts themselves. Some are just really enjoy podcasts as well, we do. And the thing with podcasts, or really any type of medium where you're creating something, there's a lot of pressure to just do it perfect, just to do it really well, to have everything clean, crisp. I mean, even us, when we're the last thing from a perfect professional version of a podcast, still there's just a lot of pressure to do that, and we take seriously both wanting this podcast to be a place where people can feel heard and accepted, and people can feel like that they belong to this community, since so many don't have that luxury in their lives. But some weeks are harder than others when it comes to just be able to I wouldn't say that we put on a brave face, because we're very honest about our struggles. I think, right. But I think that we just both had a very interesting week that neither of us were expecting, to where, it takes a lot for both of us to not really feel like we want to be goofy,
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, let's be honest, it takes a lot if I don't want to play games, for anyone who listens to this podcast, then that I have a borderline unhealthy relationship with how much I love playing games. But so it's just been an unexpectedly rough week. And so I'll just kind of share with you, since, I mean, Steven, you don't even really know kind of what's going on. You just know it's been bad.
No, yeah, we haven't talked in too much detail. I mean, we have and we haven't, but
yeah. So coming away from this weekend, it was very interesting. I'm in a very cool time. It's hard, but it's a really cool time of self-discovery, where I've been spending a lot of time reading on different types of personalities, and we've talked a little bit about this, and I know that we want to talk more about this at some point, another time, but a really helpful personality tool that I've used for trying to develop compassion for myself is called the Enneagram. It's just one of many different tools out there, and for me, it's just been a beneficial one as I've been learning more about who I am and the good and the bad of what I struggle with. So this week I've been doing a lot of self-discovery, and what I've been realizing is that I don't even know how to word this, honestly. I've been realizing that the person that I've been striving to be might not be the person that I am supposed to be, but this really, really unhealthy expectation of the person I should be. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, it does.
Like, so this weekend, for instance, I was really excited because I was reminded that I'm passionate about this podcast, and the real reason why I'm so passionate about it, besides being able to hang out and goof around with my friend every week, is I'm excited because in a place where so much of this world feels isolated and so many people have pain and frustration and struggles that they have to feel they have to keep inward, like I have felt, I want to be able to help break that. And I think that we do a good job of that. And I was excited this weekend because I feel like we were able to be validated that other people saw that vision too, and they agreed that that's a worthy cause, and it got me really excited. And then so I came back this weekend, or from this weekend, and almost like, you know, when you have like one of those really, really good weekends and you come back home and you don't know how to recover from it, like you kind of wish that you didn't come back, you know?
Right.
I think people described it before almost like those type of like mountaintop type of things where you have like a really, really great time and you come back down and then you're back in everyday life, you know?
Right.
And then you start reminding yourself of all the imperfections and all the things that you're struggling with. And so, anyway, so I'm kind of speaking in circles, but the main thing that I've realized is I put a level that I was not even fully aware of, an unhealthy level of criticism on myself. And not criticism necessarily of small things. You know, it's not like my wife Kate, for instance, one thing that I know that she really struggles with is she'll beat herself up over, you know, things like, I shouldn't have said that to that person that way, or you know, like small things that it can like really just eat her up throughout the week. For me, it's not as much that. I realize that I put unhealthy expectations of what I can accomplish in this world, and more in the sense of if I don't do something, then I failed a large group of people, and if I failed them, then I failed like society. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
no, I think it does.
Like,
I since I've known you, you've put a large amount of pressure on yourself. But I mean, I could have told you, yeah, you put an obscene amount of pressure that is really unwarranted on yourself.
Yeah. And with that, it's because I've learned a lot about, as I'm learning more about my personality, I'm realizing that there are people out there like me, and recognizing that this is the self-realization I've had to go through this week. Like, I remember before I was even dating my now wife, Kate, I got to a point where I had to realize what many people realize, and it's I have to stop looking for love. I have to stop looking for a specific relationship, because if I'm looking for it, I'm always going to put so much pressure that it can never actually exist. You know, I'm going to suffocate it. And instead, I have to learn how to become okay with myself and learn that I'm worth being loved. I need to learn how to love myself before I can let someone else love me. And so in that same type of way, I've realized I've been doing the same thing on a macro level when it comes to the missions I'm involved with and the things that I care about, and just realizing I'm over here putting both an unwarranted and just an unrealistic, and I guess almost unintentional narcissism of I can accomplish so much, and that and I've just been realizing how much it's weighing me down, and I compare myself to others so much. Like, I'll see someone who's done something amazing, they get an award or something, and it's not that I don't want the award, but I see that they do those amazing things, and then I feel like I look at myself in the mirror and I go, like, you are a fraud, like, Chris, like, you will never be that, and everyone can tell, you know what I'm saying, and it's just, and so it's been just a very, very hard last couple of days. I mean, so today, for instance, I went to this event this morning, And it was a similar situation where they were honoring a lot of really amazing people who've done beautiful things to help so many in the community that I live in. And the whole time I sat there, and I wasn't jealous or anything like that. I was so moved by the things that they do. And simultaneously, I'm sitting there, and I have this internal critical voice just saying, like, look at how amazing they are. Like, not only will you never be that, you shouldn't even be here, because you're disgracing how great of a person they are by you even pretending to be that, and again, and so it's like a really harsh thing. And so I left from that, about to go to work, and instead I had me a freaking meltdown. Like, I'm over here I was so upset that I honestly, like, I was crying in the car, and I found like a random parking lot, just to cry in. So I'm sure if anyone was walking by, they would have been like, "Oh crap, who's this dude?" But I debated on our best friends group on Facebook, almost recording a video, like me crying and just being like, if you have a really bad day today, I just hope you know that I'm here for you and that you're not alone. And the only reason why I didn't, honestly, was, I think other people will get this. I think you will too. I didn't want to see myself. Like I like, the last thing I wanted to do was look at a reflection of myself because of how bad I currently felt about myself. So the good news is, from that, I was able to do some things that was really just some really good self-care for me. And throughout the day, I started to be able to get a little bit of healing, and I was able to calm down, and I was able to realize that maybe what I need to do is I need to remove some things from my life in order that I can start living again, so I've just been trying to figure that out, and it's interesting how it's almost coming away from or coming back from the podcast festival. I realized, man, I'm getting glimpses of the type of person I want to do, the type of thing I want this podcast to be, the type of support and positive influence in the world that we can make. And then I came back, and then that internal critic just ate me alive, and it has been for the last like 2 or 3 weeks. And so so one thing that me and my friends listened to actually on the way up to DC, that it's been on my mind so much lately, is we listened to an interview, and this one I think it was this really, really wise woman we were listening to said, you need to be able to learn how to find that unconditional self-loving friend. And that's not exactly how it was worded, but pretty much the idea of Cora, what she was saying is, you have to be able to unconditionally be your own friend. You have to be, like, the way that you look at your friends and go, I love being around them because they have so much to offer. They have so much to give this world. Like, you have to be able to give yourself that same forgiveness, that same, excuse me for using a little bit more of a probably spiritual related word, but give yourself that grace of realizing that you deserve it too, not just your friends. And so what I've been trying to do these last couple of days, and it's been hard, is try and learn how to unconditionally be my own friend and see me as worth something, and I know I've been talking in circles, so I want to kind of get your thoughts on this too. But
no, you're fine.
But I appreciate you letting me just kind of process this out, because this is kind of just what's been going in my head, and the reason why I want to be honest and transparent about it is because I don't think that I'm the only one that has felt this at some point, whether it's constant or it's just people have felt that for seasons. And I think that sometimes I can be so goofy, and maybe I don't have as much of a dedicated negativity corner, so to speak, that sometimes people might misinterpret that I'm doing great all the time. And if anything, I just wanted to be able to use what I'm currently trying to process on how to love myself as validation and empowerment for other people, of saying, like, I promise you it's not you. And I think the only way that we can really make change in this world, and the type of movement we're wanting to as a podcast to do, is if we, in every possible way that we can, in every relationship that we have, we don't fall for the same tricks and standards that we have to do, where we have to pretend like everything's okay, you know? Like, I mean, I know it might make some people uncomfortable, but I mean, more even today, like, I carry my emotions on my sleeve. Steven knows that more than most. Like, if I'm pissed off, you know. If I'm hyper, you know. If I'm sad, you know. And this morning, I've seen people that know me decently well. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I could have totally have just gone with, "Yeah, I'm just feeling sick. I'm not feeling that great," or just reluctantly saying, "Yeah, I'm doing fine." But I think I just can't hold up the facade anymore, you know? And it's not that I'm always doing bad. I think, I mean, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's grief, whatever it is, it comes in waves, you know? Like, there are moments you're able to be good and things, and you're able to really, like, be functional and working well, and then you just get hit with these random, like, just bits of it, and it just sucks. And so this morning, I just was tired and couldn't do it anymore. And I was just trying to not awkwardly cry in front of them, because, I mean, it's one thing to say, "Hey, like, how are you doing?" When most of the time when people ask that question, they only somewhat mean that genuinely, because it's more of like the social thing you're supposed to do. And it's one thing to be like, it's already weird enough to throw them off and say, "I'm not doing really well. Could you be thinking about me?" Because most people would be like, "Oh, I'm just being polite. I don't actually know how to process this real emotion." It's another thing for them to say, "Hey, how are you doing?" and then sob right in front of them. Like, that might make them a little bit too uncomfortable. But yeah, so, I mean, that's just pretty much word vomit, but that's kind of what this episode is anyway, of just saying, I know I'm going to be in the long run, I'm going to be okay. But I'm just realizing that this is part of the process. And the only way that I'm going to be able to be okay is if I start doing a little bit more self-love. And that means being my own friend. And the same way that with my friends, I'm unconditional with like my love and support for them, I need to start doing that for myself, because that just isn't happening. I literally try and fight for all of my other friends so that they never feel like hurt, or never have to feel like they're alone. And so I spend all my time doing that for them, but refuse to give myself that same fight. You know, I refuse to be my own advocate as well. And I think it's because I just, for some reason, I've given myself this notion that I almost deserve to be punished unless I do enough good in this world, that maybe I deserve a little love myself, you know? And that's not a healthy way of going about it, but it's where I am right now, and I'm trying my best to fight that. So there's my word vomit. I don't know if you even want to process, or you just want to go into yours.
I'm sorry, I haven't been listening for the last... No, I'm just kidding.
Sure, yeah, no.
No, can I, before I kind of respond,
yeah,
can I read you a series? You know Brené Brown, right?
Yes, I do.
The
and
author.
Anyone who doesn't know, please look into her, because she's amazing, and I have a good feeling that you're about to provide another amazing bit of wisdom from her that will mess me up for the next 3 days.
There's a series of quotes that I'm going to read that I thought of when you were talking about this.
All right, let's hear them.
So she writes, "The truth is, belonging starts with self-acceptance. Your level of belonging, in fact, can never be greater than your level of self-acceptance, because believing that you're enough is what gives you the courage to be authentic, vulnerable, and imperfect. What we don't need in the midst of struggle is shame for being human. As it turns out, we can't practice compassion with other people if we can't treat ourselves kindly. The irony is we attempt to disown our difficult stories to appear more whole and more acceptable, but our wholeness, even our wholeheartedness, actually depends on the integration of all our experiences, including the falls. Because shame hates it when we reach out and tell our story. It hates having words wrapped around it. It can't survive being shared. Shame loves secrecy. When we bury our story, the shame metastasizes. Joy is as thorny and sharp as any of the dark emotions. To love someone fiercely, to believe in something with your whole heart, to celebrate a fleeting moment in time, to fully engage in a life that doesn't come with guarantees. These are risks that involve vulnerability and often pain. So,
that just made me cry, dude.
She's incredible.
I'm literally have freaking tears falling down my face right now. God.
It's just when you were talking about that, I immediately was like, and Brene Brown. The first quote I was looking for was the first one I read of belonging starts with self-acceptance. But no, my response to you is if we are a group of inclusive and accepting and authentic people in this podcast and in this podcast community and in the best friends group, then that has to start with us. And I'm the pot calling the kettle black over here. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm what's odd is you kept saying, like, you sit and watch people get awards and, like, you think, I shouldn't be here because I'm not doing what they're doing. I could always be doing more. I'm not doing as much as they're doing. And what's funny is I look at you and I see that. And I feel that way when I look at you and I see everything you're doing. And I'm just like, shit, man. Like, I could be doing more. Like, I'm not doing anything. What am I doing? And so, like, I know that feeling, but, like, it astonishes me when the people that I look up to and I see them doing things and I'm floored by their generosity and their kindness and their compassion and their dedication to the things they care about. When I see those people say that they are having the same thoughts but about others, it's shocking to me. So, like, I was kind of floored by that, where I'm just like, wait, what do you mean you aren't doing enough? You literally do everything for everybody, you know? And so it's just a matter of, like, yeah, man, like it said, belonging starts with self-acceptance. And so if we're going to build this, like, you have to accept who you are and care about who you are. And like I said, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Hardcore.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared to freaking be boo-hooing during real talk. Oh, my God. I'm like,
sorry.
Snotty. I need to, like, just... The only thing that's kind of near me right now is my wife's scarves. And I feel like if I wipe my nose on that, she's going to... Somehow she'll find out.
Just use your jacket sleeve. It's okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
You have a jacket sleeve. But it's okay. I'm going to do my best not to get boo-hooey later.
Hey, all I can say is anyone who's listening, it's okay to cry.
Yes.
I think I've actually told you this before. Whether it's a little crass or not, it's the truth. There are 3 things in this world that when you get out, it immediately makes you feel better. When you cry, when you poop, and when you vomit. And I know all of them are like that's a little bit vulgar or gross, but it's the truth. And I'm a hardcore advocate to letting it out. Maybe not all 3 at the same time, because that's a lot to deal with for one little area. But I'm in support of all 3 because all 3 can dramatically make you feel better. And so don't think you're the only one that cries. I promise you. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I've cried today. And, so... And sometimes that's the only way you can heal. And that's what I'm trying. At least that's what I'm telling myself right now.
See, you're better than me because you actually, like, embrace the cry, so it's less awkward. Like, when I'm on the podcast, if I start it, I get the chokiness because I'm trying to stop it.
Yeah.
And so I get, like, the, like, weird chokiness, so I'm going to attempt to not get that later.
Okay, we'll see how you do.
Yeah, we'll see. Also, I'm really excited because this is totally not unrelated, but I'm going to be volunteering with a group of young adults this weekend. and going on a trip and chaperoning a trip. And the whole theme of the weekend is based on Brene Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness.
Cool.
And I'm really excited about it.
Good.
So,
you can bring more wisdom.
Yes, I will come back with all of the wisdom.
Yeah,
because I'm going to be super smart.
and can I and then this is the last thing I'll say, and then we can kind of transition into. I want to kind of hear how things are going for you. I know a little bit, but a personal if you've ever heard of Robert's Rules of Orders before, I know I always joke around and use this term because they say, if I can have a personal moment of privilege, where you interrupt the thing to ask for something, somewhat selfish, somewhat, I wouldn't say selfish. I would say, if I'm going to use selfish, I would say like that in the positive sense, like self-care-ish. How about that's the term I'll use? I'm going to just ask for everyone, if you can be thinking of me on Friday night in particular, it's won't kind of go into it now because it could be a whole other thing. But part of what I'm realizing is I'm going to have to let some things go, and Friday I'm going to have to let something go that is going to be very painful and very emotional to let go. So I'll stop with that before I start crying again. Woo!
It's not going to be me, right?
No, not you. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about that. It's something that right now I'm just holding on. I'm holding myself to an unfair standard of not doing enough, and realizing that what I need to do is I need to take some time away so I can care for myself before I can go back and care for others.
I need to ask one question about it.
Yes.
Is it Augie?
It is not. It
thank God.
It's not my dog, and it will never be my dog.
Okay, I had a moment where I was like, oh no.
No.
Poor Augie.
I spent a lot of time today hugging my dog, which is a wonderful, wonderful therapeutic thing. Something that a few years ago you would never have in a million years would have imagined that I would have been saying.
No,
about
you were scared of everything involving a dog.
Yeah.
There was literally a dog one time, just a little levity. There was literally a dog one time running over to Chris with like its tongue hanging out and its tail wagging. Like it was so excited to play with Chris. And he like turned around and thought it was a demon and like ran away.
I hid behind you. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And he ran up to me and I started petting him and we were playing, and you were so scared of that dog.
It's so funny how much I've changed though, because now like I would
shove me out of the way. I
would have shoved you out of the way to hug him. So it's amazing what a few years. I mean, hey, that's an example of healing in itself, Like, I used to be scared of dogs because I got attacked by a dog. You know what I'm saying? So, and healing can happen. So, yeah. Well, let's transition away from my used to be dog phobias and moving into just kind of moving into what's been going on with you.
Can we just keep talking about dog phobias?
No, you got to talk about it. It's real talk.
I do want to say, for anyone who watched the Facebook Live video, one of the highlights of my week, anyone who watched the Facebook Live video on, I guess it was Saturday, when Emily from The Story Behind and I were almost stranded at the Lincoln Memorial because our phones were dying. I did get a new phone because my battery was on the fritz. So
congratulations.
I have a new phone and I'm a nerd, so that made me really happy. And what's funny is I've had some really high highs since we got back. For instance, I posted on the Facebook group late last night, and I don't know if you saw it. I went, though. Mm-hmm. I was lucky enough to go see Leslie Odom Jr., who, for those of you who don't know, played Aaron Burr in the original run of Hamilton on Broadway. And he was here to kick off an event that was supporting the arts, specifically the arts in Charlotte, involving kids. And with my wife being a theater teacher, I care very deeply about that. And so I was lucky enough to go and see him, and it wasn't enough to make me cry because I got to see Leslie Odom Jr., who originated the role, sing Wait For It, or sing The Room Where It Happens, or Dear Theodosia. It wasn't enough of that. It was watching him sing one of my favorite songs from Rent. It was watching him sing a medley of Nat King Cole, which if you don't know this about me, I don't think you know this about me. Unforgettable by Nat King Cole is one of my favorite songs ever. I also love jazz music.
I know that.
One of these days we need to talk about our jazz class.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we do.
Anyway, but no, yeah, and so that melted my heart and made me feel wonderful. But then it was the encore where he came back out and brought sheets of music. He's like, I don't know the words to this song, but y'all want an encore, so we're gonna do it. And to anyone who's been listening for a long time and who knows anything about the group, he, with the kids and with his special guest singer, sang "You Will Be Found" from Evan Hansen.
Are you kidding me? That's like your best case scenario.
Yeah, well, the thing is, for those of you that don't know, our lovely listener Katie actually donated the money to me for the purpose of getting "You Will Be Found" tattooed on my arm as a way to remind myself that I can take my life back from depression, from anxiety. And so as soon as I heard the piano chords, I immediately started crying, and the person I was with was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Just wait." And then he started singing, and they looked at me, and their jaw dropped, and I was like, "Yep,
wow,
this is happening." I put up a video of it in the Facebook group of him singing "You Will Be Found" from Dear Evan Hansen, because he did tell us, make sure this ends up on the YouTubes. Anyway, so I had high highs. Like, that's the thing. It's like those were good moments. But so one of the reasons that Real Talk is happening is because Monday night we got on to record with our guest, and we were in a Skype call, you and me, waiting for our guest to come, and I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was talking about hurting themselves. And as someone who, again, hi new listeners, as someone who attempted suicide in high school, that is something I'm very passionate about. Hey, let's talk, and if you need, let me call the police or let me call somebody to come to you to make sure you're all right. And so I immediately was just like, I have to take this. Let me see, and I'll be right back. And after I think you Skyped with our guest for about 30 minutes before I came back and was just like, I have to talk to this person. Like, I can't get off the phone, so you can record an episode or we'll sort it out. And our guest was awesome and gracious enough, and you were gracious enough to push that off until next week. And so I think it's just a matter of, we are a mental health podcast at our core, as you can tell from episodes like this. And I had to handle a mental health emergency because, I volunteer with a lot of young adults. So the only thing I will reveal about this person is that they are 17 years old. And that's how old I was when I made my attempt. And when I was dealing with all this, and I felt like nobody was listening. And so my job was to listen. And so that's why I was like, we're not doing the normal episode. I can't. So I think I apologized about 30,000 times to you and our guest, but I had to handle that. And that rattled me for the rest of the night. Got them in a safe situation. But it rattled me for the rest of the night, and yeah, it took me to a weird place because it was very deja vu, just based on the circumstances in some ways. And, after I went through all the stuff I went through as a kid, and then I hid it for 10 years, I swore that nobody was ever going to feel that way as long as I could help them. And I know that there are people who are going to feel that way every day, and I can't help everybody, but if I can help this kid, or if I can help any kid, or if I can help any of the listeners or anybody, like I'm going to do that. And so that's always been who I am. I mean, Chris, you'll probably laugh at this, but you also can 100% offer the fact that this is true. I would pass going to college, or in college, I would pass up going to class so that I could sit down and have coffee with a freshman who didn't have any friends. And a lot of times I just didn't go to class because I wanted to watch How I Met Your Mother in our dorm room. But, you know,
it was an added benefit. That wasn't the main reason why you were going, but it was an added benefit that you could also not go to class while providing support and care for someone.
Right.
So but the class thing wasn't the full reason.
But I like drove myself into the ground doing it. Like, I don't remember if you remember, or I don't know if you remember the point in time where I was having breakfast with one person, coffee with another person, and then lunch with one person, and then afternoon coffee with another person, and then dinner with a person, and then going and grabbing a cup of tea or coffee late at night with a person. Like, I was sitting down with 6 to 7 different people a day just to make sure they knew somebody cared.
Yeah.
Because I almost dropped out of college my freshman year because I felt like nobody cared. And you were actually the one that was like, I do, and like pulled me out of that. Mr. I'm not doing enough. And so it's just a matter of that is where my passion lies, is in making sure no one feels alone and that no one ever feels that they need to do anything rash or do anything dangerous or hurt themselves in any way. And so it was a rough night for me. And then the next night I actually spent some time with that person and we talked, and I think that helped situations. Well, today things kind of spiraled again, just because of, again, I'm not sharing details because 1, it's confidential, and 2, this person is a minor. And so it's extra confidential. But it was another situation that was tough, and I had to sort it out. And that is why we are recording literally a few hours before this comes out. And that's why I'm still rattled and I'm still not in the best headspace. I put off all my work today because all I could do was sit and worry and think about this person that I care about, who I consider a friend, but I want to make sure I can be the best resource for, and I feel like I'm failing. I feel like I'm not doing my job, but I'm doing everything I can. Because there is a line that I have to draw because this person is under 18. So there is a line that has to be not crossed as far as what's appropriate, as far as spending time and talking as a volunteer. Mm-hmm. And so it's been tough. And sorting out how to best help and be a resource for me. And it has kept me up at night. And I am not sleeping. I'm just thinking about how I could be a better help and how I feel like I'm not helping. And then there are 3,000 students or 4,000 students almost that go to my wife's high school. So I don't think that this is like, oh, it's that student. But one of those students at my wife's high school, actually one of her students attempted suicide a few days ago. And I know this student. And it's rattled me. It's made things hard for me. And so it's bringing me back to places that I don't like being. Not myself, not being a danger to myself, anything like that, but it makes me feel like I'm not helping everybody as much as I could. Because I literally feel like I should be helping everybody. And that's how I am. That's how my brain works. I mean, I'm having to put aside things. Meddling Kids is going to have a guest host on this week because I couldn't do it. Because I've got too much on my plate. And so there's a guest co-host coming on there this week. Like, I feel like I haven't been doing the work for my one job that pays me very little money, but some money. I didn't do the work yet. I have to have it done by my deadline at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm going to be up late working on that, but I've been shirking off all responsibility because I can't focus on anything else other than you're a failure. You're not doing it. You're not doing enough. You could be doing more. Why aren't you doing more? And it's a very discouraging feeling, and it's a very, my printer literally just came to life in the background for anybody who can hear that. So again, I'm not really editing this episode, so I'm not going to edit that out.
It's printing out a message of saying, You're worth it, Steven. That's what it's saying.
Actually, it just does that sometimes.
It's Brody sending us a message.
No, Brody. The old bro ghost.
Well, I mean, but speaking of what you're saying, I mean, we're talking about similar stuff, and the words that have just been coming to me more and more lately is, it is amazing how debilitating the mind can be. You know, how, like, it's just this imagery of, like, you step into quicksand, and the more you try and make things better, the more you think about it, the worse it gets. And I think that that's where we've both been, and I think that many people who listen to us know that feeling well. And even those who listen to us that don't know this personally, but are trying to understand it more in order to support those in their life that they care about who do struggle with it. I don't know how to, as a person that for a long time didn't get it, it wasn't until I started to get glimpses of it, of just realizing just how overwhelming it can be, and how it can truly just freeze you in your tracks. And,
right.
And I mean, like, that's why I took a mental health day today, and I'm very fortunate that I'm in a place now that I can be honest, and because my boss takes that seriously too, I could tell him I needed a mental health day, but just encouraging anyone and everyone, like, if you need it, take it. But the thing I encourage you to do is don't do what I've done in the past, where a mental health day is, I'm going to avoid thinking about everything, instead of like doing one that is truly properly caring for you. Like, so many times I've just said, I'm going to go watch Netflix and instead of not thinking about my feelings, it's almost I'm just pressing pause on my feelings. And then at the end of watching Netflix for 7 hours, then I stand up from the couch and then feel just as bad, if not worse, before. Like,
you mean how I literally started The Office over again today and played 3 games of Madden? Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, so
that was my mental health day, quote unquote. I had responsibilities, didn't do them.
Yeah, so I mean, I just it's just as much of a sickness as anything else is, and when it is debilitating, take care of yourself. And again, me and Steven were able to tell each other, we're able to talk to you about it, yet then we can't do it ourselves, which is just the irony that is self-care,
Right. Yeah, it's an irony. That's for damn sure. Well, I think we've kind of spilled our guts a little bit.
I think we have. So
I'm going to do the normal wind down. I'll do it in a much more somber voice, though, if that's what we need to do. If you'd like to send us a topic for discussion or a mental health check-in, we have some of those in the inbox that we're going to be reading on future episodes. Or if you have anything else on your mind, we need to remind you we are not professionals. The advice that we give, we don't really give advice, but the conversation we have is not to be taken as professional advice. But you can send your mental health check-ins and topics over to us at isthisadultingpod@gmail.com. You can follow us over on Twitter at isthisunderscoreadulting. Find us on Facebook, and make sure you help spread the word by subscribing, rating, and reviewing in iTunes. That's super important. It helps us kind of get the message out. And if you're looking for a place to... God, this is going to sound cheesy as shit. If you're looking for a place to be found, if you're looking for a place to talk about this stuff, and sometimes it's happy stuff like me posting, here's this Leslie Odom concert from last night, and I'm literally still crying about it. Sometimes it's that. Somebody posted a video of a Newfoundland in there tonight, like a Newfoundland...
Someone posted a dancing grandma,
dog.
And it was...
Somebody posted a dancing grandma.
And it was really great.
Like, it's like, so you get that sort of stuff, but you also get people who come in there and say, hey, I'm having a bad day, and this is why. I'm having a bad week, and this is why. And people are there for you. People will send you vibes and think about you. That's the Is This Adulting Best Friends on Facebook. track us down. If you can't find it via Facebook, because sometimes the search engine is finicky, you can find a link to it on our website, which is isthisadultingpod.com. And we have a link to it on there, as well as other resources and things like that. We're part of the Orbital Jigsaw Podcast Network. You can find our show as well as others at orbitaljigsaw.com. And if you like what you hear, we're almost entirely listener supported, so please consider clicking the Support the Show tab on our website, isthisadultingpod.com. We have tons of cool rewards. Most of them are fun, happy things. We owe a video to somebody now we need to film. I have to color some sheets because I'm literally 5 months behind on getting coloring sheets to one person, and I'm a terrible human for it, and I'm sorry. But been dealing with a lot. So yeah, we do that. Usually, I promise, we're much more fun than this. But sometimes it's okay to get real and talk and be honest and authentic. And so, last but not least, we'd like to thank the collection for the use of our theme music, The Borrowers, off their album Ars Moriendi. And with that, that's going to do it for us here on Is This Adulting this week. I've been your best friend, Steven.
And I've been your best friend, Chris.
Remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know, they may be having a really hard day, and your presence could be the change they need.
I'm not even going to say anything else to that. I think we leave it at that.
Yep.
Have a good week, y'all.
Thanks for listening. Bye.